Hello, friends. It's me. Hi, it's me, Scott. In case you didn't know my name. Um, I have a coffee today, a rare treat, because I had to go out into the world, into the dangerous world, to get some quarters to do laundry, which I still haven't done. Which is why I'm down to this this long underwear shirt, which I think is pretty much down to my last possible shirt. It's a dire situation. Actually, I'm not to the most dire level. There were times in undergrad. Yeah, I think it was just in undergrad, maybe in grad school, where a few times my laundry situation, especially during finals, where it's just like no time to do laundry. A few times my laundry situation got so bad that I had to switch to all dress clothes because that's all I had left. So like I was just wearing like I don't even own any dress clothes anymore, but at the time like was wearing dress clothes because I had no other laundry to wear. But was also out of clean underwear, so I had to wear a swimsuit underneath. So I'm wearing like dress clothes with a swimsuit, which is peak laundry. So, what are we doing today? You know what I've decided about this scene, this particular scene? I don't like it. You don't need a whole thing, like a whole view of my head, especially when the background doesn't look that great here. I think it was a little better. That last apartment was awful for a lot of reasons, mainly because I had like a view of a brick wall, but it meant the lighting situation was a little easier to control than here, where I'm a little bit more at the mercy of the sun, which is broadly a good thing. So I don't know, maybe we need to, I feel like if we're gonna keep doing this, keep streaming, we gotta jazz it up a little bit. Like just make it a thumbnail look a little nicer. This is just too boring. I think we need to like, whatever. We gotta like do the thing. Can I just do it now? Like, it's just, even if this wasn't full screen and there was just like something back there, none of these shortcuts do what I think they should do. There doesn't seem to be a hold alt shrink. Well, that's not right. That's the opposite of what, well, okay. That's definitely not what I wanted to do. Maybe we do this another time. Can I transform? Reset transform? Great, okay. And various other applications holding certain key combinations while you scale does a thing, which I think is true here, but maybe you have to be holding the key when you press it. And unfortunately, undo does not undo the way that you would want it to undo, which is not cool. Or seemingly. Maybe I'm wrong about that. No, that seems to be the case. OBS, pretty good, not great. Pretty good? Pretty good, not great. Anyway, what's going on over here? I can just hit this shortcut. Or I could click the button, I guess. So, here's our current situation. Our current situation is we need new wallpaper. This wallpaper is not bad. So, first things first, obviously, is do the right thing. There's something in my eyeball. Excuse me. Okay. Something in both eyeballs? Falling apart over here. Ah, the Aurora. Oh, hello. There's our friend again. Skateboarding on the dirt trails. There's some hopping friends. There's our skateboarding friend yet again. Maybe time to switch off the Norway filter. I feel like this not really getting something wrong with Unsplash's RNG. Look at these swirling waters. I like the swirling waters. Let's do swirling waters. Okay. So the situation we're in is last week we just started messing with this idea of let's do something with channel points, let's do something with event sub API, on and on. And broadly, it kind of sucks. Like event sub, you have to have webhooks, meaning it has to be server side, which is fine for some applications, but like, it's a little bit annoying. You have to have like public facing hooks to respond to Twitch and you also have to validate that you own those. So it kind of limits the things you can do with that. The channel points API in general, it's just okay. There's definitely things I don't like about it, but there's things about it that are fine. I think my biggest issue, and maybe I'm just having, I don't know, developer block, whatever kind of block this is, just some form of artist block. I've yet to have a great idea of what I think I would want to do with channel points. And I guess it's because I already feel like I can do the stuff that I want to with, chat commands or heat. So I broadly, it hasn't felt like, oh, there's this new thing that's great that I can do with channel points that I couldn't do otherwise. With whatever the other tools are, extensions or chat or whatever. So one, because it doesn't like offer anything new necessarily. Well, that's not exactly true. It offers a couple things. Sort of. It has this currency that it manages, so it gives you that. Whatever the value of that is, it gives you some this currency to track that you can do stuff with. You also it has the idea of a thing being fulfilled or unfulfilled. So it does, it's kind of manages this transaction system, but I just have not thought of something that I really think is useful in that realm. And maybe I've been, just not thinking about it right, or just having a dry spell with ideas for this particular project. I don't know, but we came up with the idea, and I started on this Monday morning, was just like, well, let's just make a thing that turns channel points into commands so that you can execute on your local machine. And the idea being like, this way we just give chat. That's not the right project at all. That was just a quick test from yesterday. Fortunately, not anything secret. SleepyKeys. So we started building this thing, and we had the proof of concept done really quickly, and then we spent hours and hours fussing with UI, and then we spent most of yesterday fussing with UI, and then, one of those things happened. That happens sometimes, where a viewer whose name I forgot how to pronounce, so I apologize. Kyle, C-A, I apologize. Whatever. Is it in some? Kyle. Anyway, mentioned that, oh, hey, you're making this thing. Lorien board does that already. And that's always a disheartening thing. So I knew about how do you spell it? Or I don't know how to spell it. This thing. Which seems interesting, and it seems really powerful. It seems like it does a ton of stuff. It seems very actively maintained. And I knew it was like in some ways a Stream Deck alternative. What I didn't know is it had all of these other like API kind of hooks. So yeah, like next to this basic functionality, constant growing number of community grade JavaScript extensions to connect to other software, websites, control this stuff. Which is kind of cool. It's cool. And it turns out that somebody, I don't know if it's core to the software or if somebody just made the plugin or what, but somebody has made a thing that responds to, someone is calling me. It's not the time for telephone calls. That responds to channel points. So like, Lorien board already kind of does the thing, and it does a million other things because it's just a whole suite of, it's a control suite. So, my immediate response, I've been streaming for way too long by that time. I was pretty tired and cranky. So my immediate response was like, well, this already exists. Why bother? Like, why do it? Some people should just use this thing instead that already does the thing I'm proposing plus a million other things. But then I thought about it more, and I just don't know if I care. Like, I'm only building this just for this hackathon. It's a little bit of a gamble anyway. Like, the whole thought was like, I don't have a great idea for this, but maybe I come up with something and maybe I win. Probably not, but maybe I win $10,000, maybe I win $5,000. Like, it seemed worth it to spend a few days, especially like get back in a rhythm of streaming, whatever. So it's very low stakes. It's a low stakes situation. And if I had a different, better idea that I wanted to do, I would do it, you know, like some graphics oriented thing, some toy, like a fish tank, things like we talked about, or you could make a fish with your channel points or whatever. But I don't know if I care that much. So I guess what I'm trying to decide, you can basically use these Twitch events to trigger your buttons, which is cool. It's cool. It's cool that it does all this stuff. It has soundboard. It has like truly. Seems like most people should just use this thing. But I guess where I am right now is like, okay, we have the infrastructure to do the little bit of thing we set out to do, which is really tiny. Like the actual part that does the thing, the like do the thing part of the code. Do the thing. It's just this. Like, so it's in terms of like, you know, feeling scooped or feeling bummed out that that I've spent all this time on this certain kind of functionality to trigger these keys. I'm not that bummed out because it was really just this. We did this really fast. It's basically this one line to trigger the key. And then if we want to do this, you know, do webhooks. So I guess what I'm thinking right now is I haven't really sunk much time into the core thing that happens. So we could pivot and say like, no, actually we're going to do this totally different thing. Or not. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Because one thing that, the thing that about this that is just a bummer, or it's just the nature of it, and it's not ideal, is it has to be a locally run application. So I would probably just use some little node packaging tool and make a little executable, and you'd have this goofball little command line thing that you'd run, and then you'd connect to it and configure it through a web page, and that would be fine. You know, it would be okay. But then you have to download and run this thing. And the reason for that is there's really no way we could do these keyboard presses from a browser. Like we have to do that from something resembling a native application. Unless maybe there's a way you could do a Chrome extension to do it, but I kind of doubt it. I would generally imagine there are security for most browsers. Most browsers are not going to let you just trigger global keyboard shortcuts. Probably. So then the question kind of becomes, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't really need the local application, because everything else we're doing here, we could actually do all client side. We really could. And then, so basically you would just go to a web page and then authenticate, and then all the stuff, like all the channel point stuff, whatever, kind of like we did yesterday with our little, that YouTube chatbot test, where I didn't even have to log in, like there was no authentication. You would need some authentication, but like very easy, like one click, you get authenticated, you say it's good, and then it works. So we could do an in-browser thing that was just a single page application that did something with these. And if, for example, we only wanted to trigger webhooks, that would be easy. Or if we just wanted to make an overlay, an OBS overlay that took no other work, really, and just responded to the things, and then you use it as an overlay, a browser overlay, we really probably could do all of that client side. Probably could. So what do we want to do? As far as what we do right now, I guess I'm inclined to say, like, I sort of want to just finish up the thing we were in the middle of working on, because it's really pretty close as far as like a beta, or maybe even an alpha. Maybe call it a beta, because it mostly does the thing. Like I did a little bit of work last night just to clean things up, very little, tiny bit of just like UI cleanup. But it mostly, it mostly works. Excuse me. So You can add these things and you can tell them to do a thing, a webhook or a keyboard combination. And maybe, I think I did decide it would be either or, like you'd pick the type of thing you wanted to do and you'd respond to it. And it'd be more limited, but it would just simplify the UI a little bit. But we can edit these, we can add rewards, like all that stuff is possible. Like it all works. In fact, you could just add a bunch of commands and trigger, you could have multiple webhooks or whatever. Like it would be pretty easy. And then this thing would be done-ish. And if we wanted, we could get nuts and we could add more modules and have those modules trigger other things. And we could. But do we care? Or do we just want to say we need to pivot? The problem with the pivot is like, yeah, I could decide, okay, let's just build an all browser-based thing. And that will be great. But I don't know what I want it to do, unless it really is something as simple as make a fish tank or something. So I don't know. I guess my instinct is there's a quote, and it's one of those quotes that comes from the internet, so you don't know who actually said it or if it's real. Let's see. But it's something like, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Something like that. Like, did Picasso really say this? Probably not. Like, I would kind of doubt. Only because that seems not right, you know? It just seems kind of... and it may be one of those quotes that nobody said. Like, did Picasso really say this? It's so hard to know. Like, maybe maybe this Goodreads link will actually have a source. Like, is this true? Did you really say this, Picasso? If you did, where? Like, where's the source material? There's no attribution that beyond just putting Pablo Picasso. There's no link that says he said it in this letter to this person or whatever. Okay, wait. Does this one have? So this person in 1994 attributed that quote to Pablo Picasso. What does that actually mean? I don't even know where to look for that, actually. I don't actually know where to look. You know, the internet is terrible, and it's especially terrible for this kind of thing. Because this stuff is, especially when it's a catchy little quote like that, does that... I mean, how could we even hope to find the actual source? This is, yeah, the internet's just uniquely bad at this. You would think there's got to be some place where people are sticklers for this, and they're like, no, we want these quotes have to have sources, like wiki quote or something. Maybe there's some place that requires attribution. Yeah, right. How's it going, Ben? And then he put on his motorcycle helmet and rode off into the sunset. So this is attributed to a different person. Or this person's blog. So this person has attributed it to themselves. Oh man. Very exciting. Is published by Art Appreciated. Great. I don't know. Because sometimes, and a dangerous thing is sometimes you will find a source, but it'll be like a book from 1994, like we saw a minute ago, that just says that Picasso said this. And unless you can literally find, like... And often stuff like this is like, maybe it was said in an interview, and then there can be some attribution for the interview, or maybe it was said in a letter to somebody, but Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. I don't think Picasso said this. I mean, he probably didn't, because probably if he did say something, it was in Spanish. But maybe he spoke it. Maybe he said it in English. Who knows? Anyway, let's ignore the Picasso part because I think that's a distraction, obviously, that I've distracted myself with, and just that I think there's something to it. And sometimes if you just don't know exactly what to do, yeah, you can like go for a walk and clear your head and do whatever, take a nap. Sometimes those things help, but sometimes you just have to start working, and maybe you'll see the way. Like the work will reveal the way. So we're going to go with that approach today because I've taken some walks and I've taken some naps and I still haven't come up with a good thing to do with channel points. But it could just be that I don't care about channel points. It really could be. So one thing that we could, I just know we could and should do probably is just make a library. I screwed up again, didn't I? I think I've gotten spoiled by the glitch way of doing things where you can just name a file, but you can put a path in it. Did I do the same thing again? Why do I do that every time? New folder. Lib. Okay. I am just bad at computer. I know we just looked up this last time, but the thing with JavaScript is I feel like I want to look stuff up every single time because I feel like the standards change every single time, you know? Like the patterns people use. It'd be one thing if it was like, no, you always do it whatever way, X, Y, or Z. Probably just want this to be an emitter, but we'll just call this whatever. We'll just call it Twitch for the moment. I just want to like start to wrap a lot of these calls in here. Well, I don't know what to call this. Twitch bridge, whatever. You know, and then we can start to just dump a lot of the nonsense from here because we have so many. The endpoints are going to be a little annoying too because they will need to call these things. But for now, you know, for example, kind of all of these things. And I don't really like the names of any of these. I think they're all kind of bad names. But I took the names from the documentation, not from the endpoints. And that's actually a Git patch. So I don't know. I named these based on what they were called in the Twitch documentation. So, you know, we can start to do stuff like this. Probably want one of these up here too. Kind of thought this didn't. I can't remember if you have to do this anymore. And maybe we would find ways to condense some things in here, but like, there's just so many of these API calls. And they all look almost exactly the same, huh? This one's a weird one, because this one is like, this one's where we actually do the thing, so we'd probably want something to call back. So I'm going to skip that one for now. But like, get the redemptions from the rewards. And get custom rewards with or without an ID. Like, I don't like the names of these things, but let's just start to organize a little better. Like delete custom reward. Yeah, there's so much here that is just... Why did I do that? I think I know why. I think it was kind of a weak reason, but... You know, so we'll have this nonsense. wonder how you could do this. If there's a way I could do this globally, but have it always... I guess it would just have to be a method that like returned the current headers. So it'd be like a get headers method. Well, this one has custom headers, so it doesn't really count. But so we would do all this nonsense, and then we would say like, and everything's going to be broken for now, but that's okay. I don't know. I don't really like that, but we'll come up with this. We'll tidy it up as we go. So then, sure, like all this stuff, now we'll have to go through, create custom reward. I guess we'll stick in there because maybe we'll want it. In fact, why aren't we using that? I guess because we're... Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just go through the documentation because I feel like we have half of the stuff written and half of it not written. So, get custom rewards is not defined, turns out. Config is not defined. So here's where it gets a little tricky, is how I want to maintain... Because I did this like auth and validation flow that I think is definitely not great. So I just sort of have to think about how I want to do this, because when you create the... I don't know how I want to do that, actually. Because I need to know this auth token. So I'm just trying to decide who's responsible for maintaining that. Like, is it the Twitch module? If so... You need some callbacks because some of that stuff we need to set to a config, because our config wants to live here. We're kind of going to have this problem if we dump all the express stuff into a module 2. We're going to have this problem where we need a lot of glue, which we could just do with events, I guess. But where sort of the Twitch module is bubbling up events and the whatever our like our server or web server module, portal, whatever we call it, that module needs to bubble up events as well and talk to the other module. So I don't know quite how I want to do that. I want... I don't think there's a way to do it I want in JavaScript. So is this true? In JavaScript, objects and arrays are passed by reference, but primitives are passed by value? Oh, now that I realize that. Is that really true? Oh yeah, I guess that would make sense because that's what, okay. So maybe this is fine because I could just pass the config in. So we'll just, that's a little weird though because the config is going to have like much more information than we care about, but I think that's okay. Because so the thing that's confusing about this and it just makes it a little weird is like the module not only needs to receive this configuration, which would be a totally normal thing, but it's also responsible for getting it and setting it if it doesn't exist. So trying to think of how I want to do that. Like maybe that's actually fine. Like maybe I don't care. Like any of these places with config token, we could just know about token. And then I could set the token, and if the token's not there, then it's not there. And then all of these places that were config token, I don't know, maybe this is not how I want to do this, but we'll just bear with me and we'll figure it out. Okay, config is not defined. Where? Line 90. So user ID, I guess, is going to be the same thing. Like, because of the two things we have to maintain. Like, we have to know about those things. But if you have the token, actually, you get the user ID. We don't have to store the user ID if we don't choose to. Because the first thing that should happen... Yeah, the first thing that should happen when we validate our token is we get the user ID there. Like, we could store it and pass it. It's kind of annoying that it doesn't give it to us in a more straightforward way, but if we have to validate it every time, which is currently what we're doing, then it's kind of whatever. So like, oh yeah, so all these places need to be this dot user IDs, and all of you need to be this dot tokens, except we need to not do that up here. This dot, double this dot, incredible, never been attempted before. It's probably really screwed up somewhere. I almost certainly have more of those. 96. Okay, so that's just the query string module. That's fine. Client ID, you know, it's just one of those refactoring things where you break everything and then you try to have the compiler or interpreter in this case tell you what's broken. So client ID is something we have to know. That is a thing that is critical because part of the authentication is knowing that. So like client ID is actually required. Token is not necessarily. So it's sort of like we give you the client ID. Based on the client ID, you can get a token if you need to. And then based on the token, you can get a user ID. So it's a little annoying. It's more than a little annoying. It's quite a bit annoying. It's a lot annoying, you might say. But I think it'll be okay. What's broken now? Got is not defined, so we're getting closer. This is bad because we didn't pass our client ID when we created the dude. So client ID. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to do about that. For now, we'll just do this. When we make a Twitch, we give you a client ID. And I'm tempted to just go, I don't know about this. I'm tempted to, no, okay, unfortunately. I do want to maintain yeah, this is gonna be a bit annoying. Because I do want to maintain, I have to maintain the auth token, or you have to do the browser thing every time. And I don't want to make you do the browser thing every time. Like that, there's an authentication flow in the browser, and I only want to do that one time, ideally. And so like we could pass a token here. If we know it, we'll pass it in here. But then basically we'll say, we kind of want a way to tell it like, hey, authorize if... Actually, authorize doesn't do anything, right? Authorize really just says... It doesn't even do work. It just says, hey, go to this URL. So that is not part of the process, actually. Validate is, so we would potentially want to validate, but we kind of want to say you have to have a token already. And that is annoying because that means that's like the web flow part of it. Because so there has to be like a stage that is at least once like, hey, you got to get a token. But we don't even have to spin up this stuff yet. So in other words, we can kind of say like, hey, you don't have a token. Sorry. But then we have to sort of loop and wait for you to put in the token or whatever. Like a... Because it would almost be, it would be a little bit more like, hey, if the token's not set, we're just going to wait for it to be set. And that's kind of a separate problem. So I got to think about that for a minute. So then the next question is like, where do we do the validate? Like, do we just force a validate? Like assuming that you have to have a token in here. So we're going to kind of say like, hey, you have to have a token. If you don't have a token, sorry. You know, we might say something like, hey, let's validate. You'll set the user ID based on this validation process. Can I do an async constructor? I assume I can. You would do this. And then... I don't really have to pass the token here because we know it. Whatever. And then this is where we would... Oh yeah, we gotta do all this crap. Okay, we're gonna ignore that for the moment because we don't actually have to save config there. Live visitors, how's it going? They're sending me emails at a time like this. I'm kind of behind on emails, I have to admit. Don't care. Your account will be migrated to Particle's free plan. I bought a Particle. I think it was called something different. Oh no, it's funny that Adobe XD already looks like the emoji of like smiling with your eyes squinting. I think they did that on purpose. They realized they put an emoji in their name. Okay, so we will do this thing and it will try to validate and we'll get a user ID. And we just will say like, hey, that's the thing you have to do. So let's start with that. So who is actually mad here? We don't know because I'm not logging enough. So let's try to do a few things. Let's not do this whole loop first. Like, let's say to start with, that's not how this works. But we'll say, hey, we do want to load a configuration file. And then after we've loaded config, we want to do these things. And hopefully you have a config token. If you don't, we'll do something else instead. I don't know. I don't like that. There's a flow there that does not seem good to me. And I think let's dump this into here for now, even though we have to break, like at least half of it has to break out. Okay, so class constructor may not be async. Really? But what if I want it to be? You ever think of that? I guess I just have to create it. That seems kind of lame. I can't await a construction, but I want to. Yes, we'll just say that you call validate from the outside and that this.user ID is equal to this. And then there's some kind of error in here, maybe if it doesn't work, whatever. I don't know. I don't like it. You know, it'd be something like that. And it'd be something like this. So validating token. So we got a token. So we did get a So that seems okay. So we know we validated and we can like, whatever, return true or false also. And that should be async. No, it should be await. Okay. Are you serious? I have to make a whatever. Where did that come from? Get out of here. Okay, so we got to kick off some kind of main function so it can be async. Then we're going to validate, and if we have validated, I don't know. I don't know if I like this path, but at least let's just work on it until we get everything moved into that library. So basically, we should be valid now, so we should be able to do whatever we want. So we should be able to say, for example, like this. Yeah. And to be clear, this get custom rewards is only for our client ID. Like, get custom rewards. No. Oh yeah, only manageable rewards. So we're saying like only do that if it's rewards that we manage. So that seems fine. But then the thing we got to do is like poll. And what I was doing before was just polling and waiting for there to be an authorization token and then kicking off another poll. And like, I don't know, that didn't seem very good. So, because we kind of want to say, you know, something like that. It just says, okay, start polling. I don't know. This whole flow is not feeling super great. And it's also not that important to have a library that does this, but whatever. So, I just want things to be a little tidier. So our poll custom rewards is going to look something like, a couple ways we can do it. We can do it with a set interval. We could just like keep calling ourselves. That's kind of what I was doing out here, is like not just, you know, every 5 seconds call. Meaning we wouldn't do this until it doesn't happen every 5 seconds. It happens like every 5 seconds after we do our work. It's like 5 seconds we do our work for however long it takes. Then it's 5 seconds after that, which seems like it might make a little bit more sense. So, and inside our poll custom rewards, we want to do this, where we get all of our rewards, and then if we get some rewards back, then we get the redemptions for those rewards. It's a little bit weird, like that syntax. It's a little bit weird, but it's all internal, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. That means you need to be async. And in both cases, we should know these things. Do we have redemptions to process? I guess that's good. 140. I guess we do. So, theoretically, this is working. Callback must be a function. Do what? Why? Okay, I need a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back and we'll figure this out. I was certain I was going to come back and find that Life is Yours would have switched the camera because I kind of forgot. Oh, but it's broken right now, so maybe I'm safe. Like you did at the end of the last stream, caught me off guard. That's in the YouTube archive, by the way. The scene switch. You can see me looking very surprised. Okay, what are we doing? I don't even know. Excuse me. Your schoolwork has you distracted. Okay. Really? Can I not? I can't do this? There's some reason you can't. Can you not like use a set timeout in a? There's some reason I can't do this. Do I need to do some dumb thing like this? Like wrap it? Wait, now you gotta see what? You want me to put a camera in the bathroom? You don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, so we're pulling rewards. Presumably this is working. So if we did try to, I mean, everything's gonna break for sure. But if we did this and we redeemed a reward on our next poll, we get a crash. That's fine. As expected. So that is 173. So this is the processing the redemption. So this is where it gets, this is where it's gonna get weird. Or maybe it's gonna be fine. Extends event emitter, whatever the class is, this. But what's the module called? Is that all there is to it? Okay, so we add the event emitter, and then we will say, so what is our strategy going to be here? Is like, because basically we did it, right? No, we didn't. No, I think we did, actually. 173. We got to do the thing, right? We just... For some reason I feel like... I don't know. Why do I feel like event names should be... whatever you call this? Spit case? What is this called? Did I get got? It happens. Sometimes you get got. Okay, so we do this, and then we would pass the... reward redemption? I don't know. Something just doesn't... For an event name, for some reason that seems wrong to me. What is that called? Spit case? Like the whole thing's on a spit? I don't remember what you call that. Oh yeah, I should definitely do a thing where you're live, where you only redeem rewards while live. That's probably wise. In fact, I'm surprised Twitch doesn't do that. It's kind of surprising that they, like, it feels like there should be a checkbox that's like, only allow redemptions while live. Okay, so we're gonna just fire an event. And then there's kind of a question of whether we want to redeem the reward or not. I don't know. I don't know yet. Okay. Anyway, so we want to take this block out and bubble it up here. What is it? I forgot the syntax. Yeah, it's just on this. Just do this in here. And there's kind of a question whether we want to mark it as redeemed. I kind of think yes. I think for now we just do. We just always update it. So something like that, we got problems. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. So ID sorry? I found a command. Only really want to do this if there is... I think we have an empty command. Update, we're getting closer. It's really narrowing down here. It's still all a mess, but at least it's a mess in 2 files now instead of 1. Okay. Does this work now? Apparently it works. Okay. So whatever. Now we've got this separate file. So we really aren't handling the authentication yet because we already know the auth key. So we don't really care about this anymore. So the issue we have now is if we kind of want to say, hey, if you don't know the token, don't do any of this. Now, how do we want to do that? Really, we probably want like a process command to be a totally separate thing. Like our command handling should not be crammed in the middle of this. So do we look for the commands first? We don't have to do this anymore, actually. So we could just have something that's like the ID, because now it is a, yeah, we don't have to loop through this because it's a, we just do it. So it's like, I can't remember. Some kind of contains key, has own property. Yeah, has own property. So this gets simplified to this. And then somewhere we need like a, I don't know. This is still a mess, but whatever. We'll just, so actually it needs to be more like if config.commands.has own property ID. No? Oh yeah. What? Oh. So now if we do whatever, change to desktop. It worked. Okay. So this is not good, but it's not as bad as it was. I kind of want to say that we need to, like, while the token's not through, we basically just loop and say, like, so we sort of just want to say if there's no token, then while I deleted that thing that I wanted to come back. I thought oh, it's, I see. Now I can't do this because I don't know the token yet. Unless we first give you, like, first we auth with the client ID, and then the validate is what gets the token, which is, like, not really true, but we'll just pretend it is. Wait, that's not right. Token validation fail. Interesting. Because I didn't pass it. I did pass it. Config token. Okay. So basically, we want to like get the library set up just so it exists. But if we don't have a token, then we don't have a token. So we'll want to say, okay, so let me switch here for just a second and just delete the token from the config file where we won't have a token. And now we should be very unauthorized. So right now we're just looping here, waiting for auth. So okay, so we're not authorized. So we're basically just churning here, which is bad. It's bad because it's how do I want to do this? Can I do this? Is there a way? Yeah, I just have to make a thing. Can I just await an amount of time? Yeah, I can do that. You know, so we only do it once per second instead of spinning as fast as we possibly can. Yes, that made my CPU pan much happier. So we're not doing 100% CPU usage, just waiting. Which I don't know why. I don't know why I would do that, but hey. I'm not going to think about it that hard at the moment. So, okay, so we're basically saying like, hey, you need to authorize. So you got to go to the web portal. So we need the web portal to have a way to say, to like ask whether you're authorized or not. Pretty weird way to do this. This flow is bad, but like, of course you could build this in such a way that you got the token in some other way or whatever. But as far as like what we want to do, or we want our little app to get the token, then we kind of need to do it this way, I guess. So we have to. This is like our authorization URL. Something like that. So what we probably have to do Can I have a static method? Like oh, but I don't. Lame. Because you do kind of need the authorization. Well, whatever. You don't really, because you know you just pass this in. Because we know that on the outside. So this could be static. And we could have I don't know if I like this at all, but so because the thing is, we'll need an endpoint so that the front end can ask for that URL. It seems lame. I don't know, man. Is this all bad? Could be every piece of this could be terrible. It's possible. We kind of made, yeah, we did do this. So this is their callback to like put, or no, we do this. Once we get the token, so we could get it, and then either we would return the token or we'd return the authorization URL. This could be terrible. This could be the worst thing I've ever written in my life. Not feeling super great about it, but we'll just see how we do. So and then from here we would do client ID is not in the config. Client ID is just client ID. It's just being dumb. Oops. Something looks wrong here. That's what's wrong. Okay, so that means I can ask I'll either give you the token. Okay, so we need to say like if config.token this could be terrible. So that is if there is. If there is not. And I don't think I needed this. I think that was just additional bugs, additional typos. Okay. And so basically we say, if we know the token, we just give you the token. If we don't know the token, we give you the authorization URL. Right? And then this needs to go away. This actually needs to not be a web page like this. This needs to be a view. That just like this whole thing can just go inside mounted. Yeah, so we kind of a weird one. Okay, we're just gonna take this whole thing, and actually let's just save this as a view, a component. I guess we want to make a distinction between those. Authorize.view. So what we're gonna want to do This is another thing about this whole setup where I set it up as like a web thing. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know if I think it's a good idea. Actually, we don't want... Oh gosh, I gotta think about this. Whatever, we can make it all one. That's annoying. So we'd kind of want to check it on the main interface. So when it's mounted, we would sort of want to say like, hey, are you cool? Which would be like, what are you called? It's called authorize. Oh, we got to fix that so that our redirect URL goes there, but I'm going to ignore that for the moment. Or maybe I'm not. Oh, can I just edit this? API authorize. Does that act? So, ugh, I'm not a robot. Save, thanks. So that's going to redirect to API authorize, so that's fine. No, that's not fine. It needs to go to authorize, and we need to still have an authorization page. Yeah, so that is true. That's right. That's already correct. Okay, so the thing we need to do, though, is like here we want to check the authorization status. What is our pattern for this? We got a bunch of pages here we don't really need anymore. What do we do here? Response. That's a put. We need to look in rewards. Wait, where do we get those? Refresh rewards. This is our pattern. Feels like there should be a more concise way to do this, but whatever. So this should give us an error. It should give us an error. Do I have to do something else to say that I'm returning JSON? I mean, we do it here. .json. What's wrong? Okay, what if we don't do that? Is there some other problem? Oh, it's a promise. Gotta wait that. I got a 500 error. What's wrong with you? Oh. Well, it's throwing errors all over the place over here, so maybe that's why. Twitch is not defined. Sure. Sure it's not. Cram this up here somewhere? I don't know, man. Okay, so basically we're not authorized. So that's good-ish. So we basically want to say, like, if there's a token, we're authorized. False. Okay, so we're not authorized. So then we probably just want to have like a div that is the if you're authorized. Neat. And if you're not authorized, and we'll also do like something like that, maybe. Maybe you are not authorized. Neat. Okay, so if you're not authorized, then we want to show a link with the authorization URL. Right? That's not, link is not a real thing. Oh, I was thinking of router link. So, in theory, if I click this, it's going to do the thing. The problem is I broke the thing. So the thing is this. And so we just need to make this like, you know, the pattern that everything is. Really just this. And this, and not this, and we'll just call this unmounted. Feels like there's something wrong here. Something feels very wrong. What is it? Look at my ridiculous parser. The real triumph here to parse the stupid value that comes in the location hash from Twitch. What am I doing wrong? This does need to be async. Now you're happy? Okay. So it's like if I get a token, then I got to push it, do all the business. So then we need something in here that's like, hey, you're authorized. Cool. Where is it? Here. So if we did this right, which we almost certainly did not, it'll say we're unauthorized, visit the web portal. We'll click here. Yeah, it already didn't work. So great. So my authorization URL is busted. What did I do wrong? That looks like a okay authorization URL, right? But something went horribly wrong when clicking that? Why? Oh, because that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it at all. You don't use the mustaches inside there. You do this. Now I click this. You're about to leave. Great. So, seems like something bad happened. We made it here, and we presumably have an authorization key, which I don't really want to show. Now we got an error. Unreported response type. Shoot. I mean, I guess I already showed the URL. It doesn't really matter because it's just for channel redemptions and I can change the key. So like, whatever. You can accidentally redeem my stuff for me. What a tragedy. Okay, yes. So what's wrong? Response type equals, no, it should be this.token. That's a silly mistake. Just token. Silly mistake. Okay, this. That looks like we got. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, we're getting closer. We just forgot to do this. What? Why is that not working? URL. We don't need to do this. What's the problem here? Is this doing the stupid thing where oh, is it trying to match that because there is a... Wait, that would be stupid. Oh, no. Okay, we just gotta... Right, of course. We have several more steps to do, which is annoying, but we'll do them. Okay. We have to do this. At least that much. Authorize. Token validated polling rewards. Cool. So that also should have saved the config. in theory. And it saved our token in the config, so in the future we won't have to do that. So that's not bad. It's not great, but you know, we did a thing and it works. And then we would say like, you've been authorized. Happy birthday. What do we actually return? I guess we'd want to send you to the rewards list or something. I'm going to ignore that for the moment. Okay, great. Everything's broken. What's broken? Get custom rewards is not defined. Sure, because now we have this problem. Right. So now we kind of have a problem. So how do we want to handle this problem that we have? The problem is we have all these routes that are going to want to talk to the API, which sure they do. So we kind of need to do this, even though we're not like validated or logged in or anything yet. So that can be like our baseline configuration stuff. It's going to be sort of a tricky one. I'll admit it. So, because we're going to have all this stuff, all these endpoints, you know, we're going to have stuff like this. And maybe that's okay. Like maybe this will just work, but also we have stuff like this where we actually need to put that inside the library. Maybe there's fewer of those than I thought. Okay. So we can get rewards now. Still feels like there's too much stuff in this file, and I don't really know what all of it is. So we're not going to do this anymore. Commands, we don't care about the concept of commands anymore. And so I'm just going to go ahead and... Am I really going to do this? I think I am. I think we only care about rewards, and then... And honestly, those could be the same... This could be the same URL, at least. And we just say there's individual rewards or multiple, whatever you're doing. You know, we can do this. This can be still... Oh, we can't because it has to... Because of the name problem that we have. That's not that big of a deal. It's a little annoying, but it's not a huge deal. Whatever, ignore that for the moment. So we don't actually need... I might regret this, but I'm doing it. So the only views that we actually care about are the authorized view we just did, that like main interface homepage, whatever, that doesn't do much. And then either you're viewing all rewards or an individual reward. And that is all we actually expose. And you may not even need the rewards page because that could just be the home page. You know, like if the main page's job was to do this, because what else are we going to do on the home page? We can still do this authorization message and such, but like generally speaking, Okay, does this stuff work? No. get custom rewards. So we still have issues, it would appear. No, that one's okay. It'd be in here that would be the problem. Maybe not. That was a lot of polling. So what was the problem? A bad request. Didn't we like kind of almost have this problem yesterday? We have a broadcaster ID. Oh, we don't have a broadcaster ID. Why is that true? Oh. No, that's not. So, okay, wait. So that was for what? That was for if we... Oh, that's probably one of the ones that we didn't wrap, that we should have wrapped. Like this, it's in here. So this, we can't do this. This needs to be in the Twitch API. I don't know why we didn't do that. So we had like get custom reward, delete custom rewards, and this will be like update custom reward. I don't even know what the arguments are, but we'll figure it out. So these, all this logic so we need to feed it probably like the ID and the body. Probably. We'll send it a JSON object and then we'll, I don't know exactly if we want to do this or not. Okay. And then it was just request.body is what we're actually sending. And then we basically want to do this exactly as before. But inside here, we now need to say that we're either going to return there's definitely an error in here, but let me remember for a second. Like something's going to be wrong. Yeah, something's going to be not quite right, but that's okay. Body has already been declared. Like, is it smart enough to do that? What if I don't do that? What if I don't stringify that? Config is not defined. So token, that's okay, because we know the token, it's in here. We know the user ID, it's in here. Client ID is not defined. We know that as well. Like that sort of pretended like it worked. Okay. What if I don't do this, though? It'll probably be mad, right? Like, that's a thing that we do need to do. Yeah. Body must be... That's okay. Did that really update? Seems like it did. Okay, so that seems okay. Can we actually... You say I'm not authorized? I think I am. I think I'm super authorized. Good grief. I don't even know what I'm typing anymore. Don't steal my token. Don't validate my whatever. That token only has permission to validate. Wait, I'm on the wrong screen. Shoot, how long have I been on the wrong screen? Did I do that, or did somebody do that? Did I really do that 39 minutes ago and then forgot about it? Have I been doing the thing where for 39 minutes I haven't been looking at this? Has it really been 39 minutes? For 39... Oh my gosh. Life is yours. Where are you? Are you doing schoolwork? Did you just let me stream for 39 minutes on the wrong scene? I haven't done that in a while. Wow, did I really? I mean, sure, I redeemed the code that did that, so... Did I really just spend 39 minutes on the wrong... Did I really? I just need to pay more attention. The video's right over here. I just, I was in the flow. You're right. I probably do need some kind of alert that's like, hey, if you've been on this scene for a while, oh man, that's embarrassing. I mean, at least it wasn't on the splash screen, so my voice exists. So, okay, well, for the last 39 minutes, what did I do? I just was reorganizing the auth stuff, I guess. I remember what I don't even know what I was doing. So now we can... Okay, does this site work? I think home and rewards, like, I think we don't need this. I think we're just going to combine the homepage and the rewards page. Can I add a reward? The life is yours. Didn't warn me. Cost 100. Checkmark. Refresh. The life is yours didn't warn me. And whenever life is yours didn't warn me happens, we press Control-Shift F3, and that sets to the desktop scene. Uh-oh. Unhandled in the mounted hook. Is that on this page? This one costs 10,000. Very costly. So, does that work? Switch to the splash screen. Go. Why did that say that was only 100? Did I do something wrong? I changed that to 1,000, and it seems like it did not actually change. That seems wrong. Change to the desktop scene because it's only 100. Okay, so our edit is busted, or we are... We definitely said the price. Cost, 1,001. Is it supposed to be a string and not a number? Probably just want the response body. Cost $10,001. So why is the cost not showing properly? Change to desktop scene. Change to desktop scene. Redeem for 100. Wait, it also didn't do it. Did I screw something up? Oh, one of these is supposed to be... What's supposed to be change the camera scene? Okay. Now change to camera. Now change to desktop scene. $10,001. Okay, it's kind of slow because I'm polling. You know, the poll takes 5 seconds. I don't know, man. Is this project terrible? It might just be terrible. Definitely possible. It somehow ended up into a like front-end web project, which was not the plan, but it just suddenly is. It's happening more and more for me, where it's like, I don't know, building interfaces for stuff always kind of sucks, and I've been building, even for like installations and stuff, I've been building little web control panels, and so I've been trying to experiment to figure out a way I like to do that. I kind of like this all front-end Vue.js approach, kind of. It's still a hassle. It's always a hassle, though. Especially, you know, when you have like management things where you're like managing backend data. So I don't know. Okay, so this basically works. So let's get rid of the rewards page and combine it with the interface page, which hopefully will not be too difficult. Thing is like, do I want to send you to the authorization page if you're not authorized? Like, we could do that. We could have something that's just like, hey, you're not authorized, get out of here. And that's just something we could always kind of check. I think that we could check that as part of the routing even, or even just in the individual mounted pages where we can just say like, hey, you're not authorized to get out of here. But I just don't think there's really a reason to have, because like, what if we just go to /authorize? It does nothing because there's really nothing there. But we would just steal this mean, one or the other. Either we cram this into... I think we do this. I think we steal this. And I think we steal this. So like if there was a token in the hash, else if there wasn't a token in the hash, then we need to check. We need to do all this stuff. Something like that. And then interface, I think we just get rid of it. And then routing wise, we don't really need this anymore because we don't care. Routing wise, we just say that rewards is the homepage. And commands can go away because we don't care about commands anymore. All we really care about is you're either showing rewards, you're editing an individual reward, which you really could imagine could be the same page, but for now we'll leave it separate, and or you're being authorized. So that's like, if we're authorized, do we just want to redirect you automatically to the homepage and vice versa? If you're not authorized, probably. Or yeah, okay. Bathroom break. We're right back. Don't change the camera when I'm gone. Aha! I defeated you with my very expensive camera changing thing. Okay, we're a little dark. Let's up the gain. Okay, so now what? Now what do we do? I don't like this rewards button at being at the top. I don't like that. We'd also want to check your authorization here. Like if you weren't authorized and you try to do this, we could return unauthorized. And there's a few things we could do. Or we could always check, which seems a little crazy. But I don't know. In real life, you might want to do that. So yeah, like the add reward button I don't think it goes up there. And actually, I was kind of thinking the whole... Let's just think about this for a second. Okay, so we have our spinner if we're loading. So that's fine. What I was thinking of that might be kind of cool... Maybe cool is not the right word, but... I don't remember exactly how I did this. So this is all inside the loading. Okay, I got it. So like I thought table had a loading state actually, now that I think about it. But maybe that again is Bootstrap view. That's not the actual documentation that I want. Okay. Like I thought maybe in Bootstrap view, like it has a spinner state where you can say like, hey, the table's loading. That seems to not be true here. Probably do want to do this for some things, like when we're saving, you know, that we saved. Okay, so, or maybe we just don't care that much. I don't know. Sometimes you just follow the gravity of your interest. And for whatever reason, I've been mildly interested in doing this project this way. So what I was thinking is it might be kind of nice, like what if we actually made the reward ad its own table row? You know what I'm saying? And then inside it, it was... Hey, life is yours. Are you so offended that I'm using tables here? Are you outraged? Shocked? Dismayed? Disgusted, even? They're styled not badly in what's its face. I did these backwards. In Bootstrap view, I'm sorry, just Bootstrap. But I have tabular data, so like, I feel like if you've got tabular data, show it in a table. These percentages, I don't understand this. Like the cell width seem a little weird. That's not terrible. Like if it was 25, 25, and 50 or something like that. I mean, should I specify that on the headers? Oh. Actually, that's an interesting question. So if I could... Please don't use the grid. Like if I want my cell width to be different, it's a figure. What? Like if I want to enforce Okay, my instinct is to do this, and I don't know. But now that I think about it, this would be not good for probably responsive land. Why do we have so many pages with them? Always. Did I break it? Good. Could be worse. But basically the idea is you do your add reward and then you just, you know, check your business right there. Check yourself at the door. Give me some more. Give me some more. Give me some more of those Rolos. So that would be Rolo Tony Brown Town. Basically, these two buttons would turn into these two buttons. So, that's interesting though, because we did that as a submit. And that would be weird. It doesn't matter. Okay, instead of a submit, it could just be save reward. Oh, we were doing that because then we got the validation for free. For free-ish, but whatever. We don't care that much. And then what did cancel do? I just kind of reset this. So really, we want this button to be the cancel button. And then the save button is this, but with a because save reward doesn't use any parameters anyway. We could do something like this. Sure don't like the way that looks. So can we style it to look more like the other friends? Really just made those button links down here. And we made them bigger. They seem very insignificant. These I forgot how to set. So it could be like text success. I don't know if you can do this. Is that a thing? Text danger? And then this whole TD would be... How did we do this before? I see. We did it in here. So we would say like this whole TD would get... No, this whole row, this whole TR would be like this. And you could add one. That's kind of not bad. And if you could go away, those buttons are weirdly tiny to figure out why that is. The save is going to be an issue. So I want to call submit, but without having a form, can I do that? Or like, how do I wrap a form? Can I wrap a form around that TD? That'd be pretty weird. Oh, but I guess I could. Or around the whole TR. Like, you know, is this insane? It seems kind of gross. But I don't really know where to wrap it. But then you'd get your you get the form validation for free instead of doing, yeah, you wouldn't need this anymore. Just do this. Uh-oh. Is that not a thing I can do? Like, is this the way to do it? Wrap the I don't know, man. Wrapping things in the middle of forms seems very clumsy. I guess the form could wrap the whole dude. But now it seems like it's suddenly not working at all. Why would that be? It's because that's like something silly where there's two forms with the same name or something. No? So what's the issue? So I have a whole form in here. And maybe that's just not a thing. Display none, though. Didn't I say? When I click this button, it should set add reward equal to true. And this VIF. Is it because of the form? Let's just try with that. We could wrap the whole, it is. So I guess we need to do this, which seems really silly, but I mean, I guess sort of makes sense. Life is yours, gonna extra of this. My format on save is not working. That's not a good sign. Forgot what the... Yeah, something feels wrong. So I have a form, table. So I have an overall div, form, table, t-head, a t-body with the rows that we use to loop. I have another tr. Something wrong here? Yeah, something's definitely wrong. Form. Oh, did I just accidentally add two divs here? Yes. text end. Yeah, this looks goofy. I mean, I guess we could do that for all this stuff in there. Okay, so we can add a reward, and then we can type the thing. These buttons are silly in how tiny they are. Like... there's got to be a check and a circle, right? Check dash circle or something. Instead of a really teeny tiny little baby check. Baby check. Check circle fill. Or just check circle. Still seems very light. And then like danger, circle, fill. I don't know. Wait, no, not you. X, circle, fill. Okay, so that adds a new one. And we can say it costs 101 points, and it is called just end the stream. Whenever you want to end the stream, it'll just make OBS stop recording. It costs $1 million. It'll cost 100,000. And if you're just tired of hearing me, then sorry. End the stream. The orders of these, they don't have dates. And I wonder if the IDs are orderable. I should at least maybe be alphabetical. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, life is yours. Your click routing does not look... Ooh. Ooh. Are you sure? Are you sure that's how you do that? That looks not good. Okay. End the stream. And if you end the stream, it's Control Alt Shift F5. And that just ends the stream. Yeah, weird. Okay, we got that problem again, actually. We got that error. So let's try this one more time. So change in the stream. Didn't show any errors. Saving didn't show any errors. So is it only if I request one where there's not a command yet? I bet that's what it is. I bet that's the issue. Like we're asking for a command that doesn't exist. So what do we do in that scenario? So it could just be null, probably. So probably, and this one's really fancy. This one just starts streaming whenever you want. Like just, I'll just be in my apartment doing whatever, and you can just start a stream. That is a bad idea. Okay, so if I do this now and I say start the stream, yeah. So the problem is, that's a pretty good reward, right? You can just start streaming whenever you feel like it. And I'm required by law to sit down and begin talking. So what do we do? Let's refresh rewards. We need to be here. So when we mount one of these, that's funny because I guess we could just return an empty object. Because what do? We say this.command is equal to whatever we get back. So the easy way to do it would be either that or just nothing, probably. Then it will come back and it'll be okay if there's nothing there. Okay. So we probably need to cancel. That just goes back to the home page. Just a button that's like, get out of here. It's not really a cancel. It's more like just a back. So do we want to have the ability to have multiple commands per reward? We almost know how to do that. In fact, we were set up before and then I undid everything. I don't know, man. Is there really not a shorter way to do that? Because that looks so awful. So, okay, here's, I don't know if I like this, but let's just try this so it looks a little more consistent. We could, getting really confused between reward and rewards. So I think we're happy without this. I like just editing inside the table. And this can be a button link. The alignment's so goofy. I mean, we could do something real silly and just stick this inside the table also. I don't know. Maybe we don't do this with tables. We could switch all this to just be grid-based. But here we are already. The reason with Bootstrap View to use tables is it does not, it just has lots of nice built-in stuff like sorting and whatever, but I don't think just straight up Bootstrap doesn't do that. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Oops. It's you know, it's fine, but the alignment is dumb. So ignore the dumb alignment for a minute. We can add here. That's great. We can edit individual dudes, and that's great. Presumably we can still delete. Nope, it was a bad request. But then it said it was okay. Why is that true? Wait, do what? Oh, did that submit the form also? Do I accidentally have submit on another button? No. That's just a button link, and it does a delete reward, and delete reward refreshes I'm a little confused here. Delete me. Now we're fine. Delete this. Wait, why did that say it's adding updating reward? We did method delete. Maybe I just cut and pasted. Delete custom reward. It did delete. Why would it ever call adding? How's that possible? Okay. Let's like... Feels like I'm doing something not good. Let's add a new thing. Delete. We've created that, and it seems okay. Now, if we delete that reward, we get a bad request and a query successful. But like, yeah, why would we get adding updating reward? So that should only happen when there's an update custom reward. So we do that here. The only place we should do that is if there's a put. But that shouldn't be a put. It should be a delete. Huh? When we call delete reward, it should say we're loading. It should say we're doing method delete. ID headers. Huh? Put query was successful. Delete query was successful. Why was there a put? Why would a put ever happen here? Is that still me like waiting for the response to the original? Okay, let's try this again. So we see this get added. Adding updating reward again. It's all good. That query is successful. Great. And now we're going to hit delete on that. Adding updating reward. Huh? I'm quite confused. Because on the one hand, it seems like the delete's not working, but also this stuff is being deleted. So, wow. Put query was successful. Seems like we did this. Everything seems happy. Now we're gonna, oops. Can I not? I don't want to delete the terminal. I just want to clear it. I don't know if I can do that. Anyway, now we want to hit delete on wow. So what happens? It says the delete query is successful. How is it successful? It's never, it looks like this is never happening. Delete custom reward with ID. But it's gone. Also, why is this an error? Okay. Am I actually calling this endpoint? Is this actually... Add one of these, Put query successful. That was the put endpoint called, right? I feel like it's not calling delete, but somehow it is deleting things. So, I mean, I'm almost certainly doing something silly, but still, this feels weird. Okay, and now... press delete. So look at this. Reward delete endpoint called, followed immediately by a reward put endpoint called. Am I doing that? I'm not doing it. So I do, okay. So either somehow this logic is calling this endpoint, which doesn't make any sense, because the endpoint, the put got called, which means I'm probably accidentally calling it. So when the query is successful, I do refresh my rewards. Is something accidentally calling save reward? Like, is something making this happen? So that'd be the next thing to test, I guess. That's starting to feel like what it is, like somehow when the form's getting refreshed. What? Is just having a button causing the form to submit? The only thing that should submit is that little success button. This guy, why would that do that? Okay, just to be clear, save me. Put query is successful. Okay, so we're all here, we refresh, we've got it. Save me. I click delete. The first thing it does is says it's saving the reward. And then it says the delete was good. So is that form getting submitted? That'd be dumb. Like, why would just clicking... Okay, so let me see if it's this, my click method here, or if it's just like literally just having a button. So just clicking this is causing the reward to save. Why? Oh, is it really this is my problem? Just that I don't have a type? And I do have a type down here, so it's okay. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Okay, so now I can delete you. And you're fine. That's a silly problem, but I think we're good now. Okay, so we can make these, we can edit these, we can go back. There's lots of little UI things we'd want to do, like I know. Just make it like you can't press the save command unless you've actually made a change, and little friendly things like that. But do I care? Do I care? I don't know. I don't even know what I think about this project right now. I kind of want to be able to have a type. We know we need to make the key drop down thing work. So like that'd be one thing we could do, for example. We just have a giant ridiculous list of all whatever of every key on the keyboard. We have a list actually, so we could do something pretty silly. These are all the keys you can have. And if it has like no Windows support, we just skip it. If it's Linux only, skip it. It's Mac. No support on Mac, we just skip it. Okay, how would we actually want to do this? Like that. And then these are all the keys that are supported, plus ooh, I like my cursor is going with the music right now. So, you know, you would do all of this nonsense. Do we really want to do that? I don't know. No. Are you seriously? I can't just type the alphabet? Very exciting. I don't know if I want all these. I mean, I probably do want like up, down, left. Up, down, right, left. Those seem like things I might want. Backspace. Oh, that'd be terrible. Backspace, delete, enter. Home, page up, page down. Let's just start with these, I guess. If anybody actually ever cared, then we could care, but... This is probably a really, really silly way to do this. We could all just make it a text area where you could just type in what you wanted instead of having to do a ridiculous dropdown. I mean, the nice thing to do the bootstrap view a little more easily. I'd like just have it search and fill in as you type, tell you if things are valid or not. Because the dropdown just kind of sucks. I mean, we could use it as a validator, I guess. I kind of forgot about all the ridiculous mouse stuff. We didn't even do anything with that yet. You know? Something like this. So to start with, oh, thanks for formatting that for me when I didn't want you to, but oh well. Okay, so then we would do something like this would be the not great way, but more complete at least. I broke it. You know, we could use this as authentication instead. Great, I did that very well. I did a very good job. Why didn't that work? That's the key. Why is the value not... What did I do wrong? It's like a v bind value equals... Why did that work? Oh, it's just because there weren't any set. So if I did these, it'd be okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but if you want to, I think I want like a none. Because, you know, you could be doing this just a webhook here. And maybe we'll make it where those are exclusive. Yeah. So, robot doesn't do that. So you can do a key tap with modifier, but if you want multiple keys, that'd be a whole nother thing to like type out a sequence or hold them individually. I don't know if I care about that. It seems kind of annoying to get that right. You'd have to do key toggle, I guess. And then manually type them all down and hold them and then release them all in sequence. So I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. We're just going to go with key tap. Assuming that people are like binding these to something, not just typing nonsense. You know, another thing about this, since it is a goofy little local web service, it also would be easy to have an overlay that was this, like a SleepyKeys overlay. You just run SleepyKeys and it does all the stuff and gives you an overlay if you want it. And I think maybe one of the most valuable things about this potentially is like the potential ability to really easily have it add and remove stuff. I still feel like there's like some potential there that I just haven't figured out yet. Like the idea of some system that is like based on some algorithm is deciding to add and remove channel points. But I just don't know what I think that is. What is it? Also, I'm realizing since we're doing all this client side, another downside here, excuse me, is that we can't easily do like Sass and less if we want to change like the built-in colors, all the bootstrap stuff. Is that all right? You know, if we want to control all of those colors, like, kind of can't easily. We could manually do a bunch of CSS that overrides them, like, thing by thing, but we can't modify in the normal way you would if you were doing the SCSS stuff. But I don't know if I care about that yet. I don't know if I care about any of this. Maybe this will never see the light of day. I don't know. I still don't know. We have the tools now to do the things. The thing about the quick and easy add, remove, all of that stuff, like, we don't really need the client side piece to do it. Like that is kind of the only reason we have that local process running is to do the keyboard shortcut thing. And if we don't care about the keyboard shortcut thing, we could rewrite all of this to be all in a browser. It's only so we can do that stuff, which could be cool. Like I'm trying to imagine if there's just some, if we could just grab a few other node modules that just already did stuff and just do the stuff with them. You know what else I was thinking about? Here's what I was thinking about. Are you ready to hear it? The thing I was thinking about is, I wonder if you can do this, actually. Let's see if you can. So OBS definitely, it has some built-in support for filters. So another thing I was imagining that would be kind of cool is to build some weird VFX filters, like weird distortion stuff. Because there's some stuff in here. That's funny. There's a 3D transform. Ooh, this one doesn't animate though, sadly. That's pretty good though. I like the way it comes through on the stream like that. Are you getting seasick? It's pretty good. Why can't I drag that? That's lame. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because there's that OBS WebSockets thing. It's funny because there is a displacement mapping. Cool. How's this? This like weird UV displacement. But if all of these, what this feels like, and I don't know how they do it internally, but it feels like they just run the whole thing through a shader. I don't know. Maybe it's all like, I don't know. I was going to say maybe it's all DirectX under the hood, but I'd imagine they do it cross-platform. So that's a pretty weird effect to just have. Like image masking and blending. I guess you'd need another to be on top of something to do that. That's funny. Just add a needless delay to it. Great. So I wonder how that works. There must be buffer that accumulates everything. Some Perlin noise for the displacement. You definitely could. Well, maybe you couldn't, because it looks like it wants 3 channels, like a UV displacement setup. So we'd have to make multi-channel noise, I guess. I don't know. We'd have to look and see how it actually works, but it seems like it wouldn't just work the way you're imagining. So you could kind of, we could make crazy filters. We could just make whatever weird filters we wanted, because it'd just be like running it through a shader. I guess. Just turn on all this stuff. How's that feel? Pretty good. So, you know, I was just imagining like, oh, it'd be kind of interesting to find a way to just toggle an effect or something. And maybe you can. That one's pretty good. This one's actually scroll and displacement are pretty good combo. To like a little bit of 3D transform back to orthographic. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that would be a thing. It'd have to be an OBS plugin, I assume. I've never written OBS filters, so I don't really know how you do it. Like this, I'm literally just applying it to the scene. So it's right-click scene and pick filter. I don't know how you control that though. So why is there no consistency on Windows for where options are? File settings, not tools options, not edit preferences. You know, there's a million things. So you can like show and hide stuff. So that's kind of the thing you'd really want is to have it as a layer that sat on top of stuff probably that you could just turn on and off. But I don't think there's an easy way to do that. Or not a super obvious way. Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of nice if there was some way to like live control the parameters though. But I guess you could switch scenes. I mean, actually, you could just turn it. So what I would want is a layer that was a filter layer that sat on top of stuff. So is it smart enough to do that? Because that would be awesome. I don't think it is. Unless you can do a group and then put a filter on a group, I doubt it. Yeah, because so what I would want, which doesn't seem to be offered, is that in a scene, I could have a source that was like a filter source that sat on top of everything. And then that is the thing you could turn on or off or mess with or whatever. But I don't think there's a way. At least there's not an obvious way to do that. Well, actually, you could set, you could set a scene as a source. Okay, let's just try this and see if it works. So this is going to be weird, probably. So I need my camera and my microphone, but let's just try this. Let's make a new test. Okay, we're in the new test scene. Can I just add oops. Can I add a scene to this and say that I want to use my camera scene? And then can I add a filter to this? Ooh, it seems that I can't. So but it's better. It was better before when you could see the video output. So I'll get some nice displacement. Turn on the scroll. Probably want the scroll before the displacement. Probably before the transform even. No, we want it after the displacement. How's that? So that's an effect, but there's no, I don't think it's an effect on an entire scene inside of a new scene, but I don't know that there's a, I don't think shortcuts can control effects. They could like turn this scene off or on. So you could like have a mode where you went into the crazy mode or whatever. But I don't think I don't think there's a way to manipulate filters unless like deeper, there'd be some deeper API thing or whatever where you could do the. I forgot we added the video, please. Is that still on? Can we watch Buck Bunny right now? I don't know, man. What do we do with any of this stuff? We have an okay foundation now. It's like reasonably clean. Uh-oh. Got problems here. So you're still interesting. Okay, it's a lie. It doesn't actually just do it on that layer. It does it on the whole scene, like at the scene level. So it's not quite what you'd want for what I was thinking. Anyway, what do we do with this dumb thing? How bad is it now? That's not too terrible. These don't look too bad. These are just gone. We don't do these anymore. No, we do. We do still do that. Because that's inside a reward, we still call that separate endpoint. So we can like, these are all the routes for rewards. We don't have a way to delete a command, but I don't think I care. Like you could just like set it to nothing. Like maybe we have a drop down that sets it to nothing, or I don't know. Maybe we'll make that more fancy. This hackathon is due in 12 days. What do we want to do? So we can load and save configuration file. Some of this stuff we don't use anymore. I don't even know why this was in here. Do we actually use got in this file? Oh, because we call the webhook. So we don't really need it, but yeah, I kind of would imagine that if we look, the like fancy way to do this, well, the fancy way would be to have separate modules for each type of command. Like here's the webhook command, and here's the keyboard command, and here's the MIDI command, and here's the mouse command, and whatever. But that's only if that's still the direction we want to go. And I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, it sounds more fun to just write an OBS filter. What does this mean? What does that mean? Like what? And why don't you give an example? Create your own file effect. But what is the dot effect file, dude? You're not. What is a dot effect file? What? Custom effects render. Custom effects create. But what is it? How is this bad? Like, how do you, am I just missing something totally here? How do you use this? Then in the property, select your file effect. How? What? I'm not a fan of you. Shader filter. Is that what we want? Moon shaders. That feels more like what we want. Oh yeah, look at all these shaders. Oh my gosh, look at all these shaders. Okay, maybe we don't need to make this because somebody already made it. Can you show me some examples? Can you show me video of the examples? I mean, could you do like a YouTube video so I don't have to do this myself? That is kind of cool. I like this. It's cool that somebody made this. So like, you know, just picking shaders could be cool. I wonder how you can control it. Like remote controlling this would be... That's kind of the problem here is the remote control part of it. Like how would you tell OBS to do that? OBS does have that WebSocket thing. The OBS WebSocket plugin. But I don't know if you can like set, you know, set things that are that specific. Automate screens. Yeah, you can do all this stuff to talk to OBS, but like, what? Okay. So there's lots of stuff. Get source filters. Can you actually control the filters? Add filter. Set source filter settings. So that could be something, right? That could be something pretty cool. In conjunction with this, the OBS shader filter. I probably had to restart OBS to install these filters, right? Unless OBS is really smart enough to like watch for stuff to show up. I would kind of doubt that. Okay, maybe tomorrow we try this just to like try something a little different. There's a whole lot of shaders here. That's cool. Fire shader. Mortal Kombat. Far too many shaders to list. I don't think that's true. I think it's just being, like being a little bit lazy. Because it would not be that big of a deal to just have a screenshot of all of these. I mean, this isn't a million. It's a few dozen. VHS shader. We kind of wrote one of those for the splash screen. I already forgot how that works. I don't remember how the splash screen works. Do we do that with Pixie or do we do that with 3JS? I don't know. Kind of think we did it with 3JS, but I don't remember. These seems cool. And we could write some of our own shaders, I guess, if we wanted to. It feels a little weird. Like we wouldn't want to make the whole point of our hackathon entry like do this, or like just here's a shader somebody made. Might be a little bit weird. So we could set up. Sounds like a hassle. Sounds like a definite hassle, but you could use that OBS WebSocket thing, and then you could set up channel points to control things a little more granularly, but that takes way more setup for people. It's like that's a whole separate issue. I don't know. Like I'm kind of curious. So can I see like what's the most popular resource? Of course it is. Sort by downloads. Virtual cam. I thought this was built in now. Isn't this built in? Start virtual camera. No board, a keyboard virtualizer. What does that mean? Oh, it just shows. The WebSocket control is definitely something. Here's some more effects. This doesn't seem quite maybe as good as that custom shader dude. Although maybe this one actually has. Man, have you people not heard of screenshots? Custom shader. So this is like another way. Ooh, interesting. Well, great. Move sources and setting values, RTMP, More input overlays. Advanced scene switcher. Audio visualizer. Touch portal, the #1 Stream Deck alternative. Oh, wow. Well, shoot. Control everything with Twitch channel points, bits, and more. Everybody's ahead of me. I guess channel points have been around for a while. Use OBS channel point, chat messages. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so maybe we don't need to get into that realm, I guess. Like hardcore OBS control. All the shader stuff is kind of interesting to me, but that's probably kind of irrelevant to the hackathon. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what we want to do here. Like the thing we have, you can do, it's very limited and you can do it in other ways. It only took a couple days to build, so it's not a big deal. We could use the backend for something else. Yeah, well, I mean, it's certainly relevant. Like it could be a cool thing to do, but it's like, I'm not building that tool. So like, it'd be kind of weird for me to say, hey, look, for the hackathon, I just made a thing that lets you control a thing that you could already do another way. And there's other tools to do it with channel points. Like, you know, like if the core of that is that the thing you're doing is controlling OBS with channel points, there's already ways to do that. If it's OBS specifically. If it's more general purpose, maybe you can argue it, but I don't know. It feels like, so what? It's Wednesday. Had this idea for the keyboard entry Monday morning. We found out other stuff that does it yesterday afternoon. So we could just abandon that. We could just say like, hey, the keyboard entry is not right. And still we have all the rest of the infrastructure to do something else. I just don't know what the something else is. Especially since it seems like you could use these other tools, Lorraine board and whatever that one we just looked at. Not this one. Whatever that other one was, that other semi-free one that was like, yeah, this touch portal. I mean, this is definitely sending me back to I mean, this doesn't, no, it's not an extension. Right now, you have to do the local keyboard stuff, you have to run a local application. So there, you would download and run an executable, because that's the only way you could do the local stuff. You can't, I like highly doubt through a web browser there's any way that we could get a web browser to trigger keyboard presses, because that would just be a security nightmare. Maybe there's a way, maybe with the Chrome extension with some like manual Chrome overrides to turn off some security features, maybe, but it's hard to imagine that. And just as far as like the general purpose thing, which is sort of where my mind was, it's like, if it seems like there's other tools to do that. So I don't care that much. And then unfortunately, even if I get into like really specific things of like, oh, what's a weird specific thing? Like, I don't need my tool to do it if you could do it with whatever, Lorraine board or whatever. So I think there is something to what you're saying though, about like, like, how do you make it really easy? Like, I think there is something to that. And to me, if it's going to be a thing it would be like the thing we did yesterday, where it's like, you don't have to know how to do anything. You just you add an OBS source with your channel name in it, and it does everything for you. You know, that's kind of what we built yesterday, but the thing we built yesterday doesn't use channel points, and channel points does require authorization, whereas chat doesn't. And we could find ways to down that, you know, make it a two-step process where like step one is authorize, and then here's your authorized URL. And that could be fine. Probably. What do we do? What do we want to do that's just all in a browser? Because even then, we could theoretically get it working where it's all in a browser, it's all in an overlay. All you do is add an overlay after you authorize it. You don't have to do anything else. And then just magically, it does something funny or weird. Like it. I just don't know what that is, that you couldn't do some other way more easily. Oh, you're right. Actually, you're right. Chrome Remote Desktop. It's just hard to imagine. Like, how would you do that? Like, that's not what you'd want, though. I mean, I wonder if that's like a totally separate thing, sort of. Like if the control, in other words, I'm saying like if the Chrome Remote Desktop extension is like elevated and special because they made it. Screen sharing, but there is Chrome Remote Desktop. You're right. That is actually full control, but I think you're running like a separate client application, you know? Like it's the client application that is sending those commands out. It's not Chrome itself, if that makes sense. Right? Because you have to run separately a Chrome Remote Desktop process. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Because that just seems like a security nightmare. If there was some way that you could have a browser just take control of your computer. You know, which is why if that's the route we go, which is currently the route we're going, the triggering the keyboard, which now I'm less excited about, you know, knowing that it's in other tools. That's the only reason we need the local process. For actually managing everything, we could probably port what we've already written. Actually, what would be great if you could use got in the browser. Oh, for browser usage, weird. So you can't use. That's kind of weird. Although the syntax looks very similar. So if you could use got. Otherwise, we'd have to rewrite our API a little bit. So KY you could use. So you tell me KY is by the same people? It's almost API compatible with the browser fetch API. So that is interesting. So that's sending the method. That's fine. That's not that big of a change. So like, yeah, we could port the stuff we've already done, which is really just a wrapper for the API. We could port that stuff to the browser and do the stuff in the browser if we wanted. I just don't know if we want to, you know? Automate anything. So, you know, basically, if we did this route with what we have now, we're just saying like, hey, this is a stripped down alternative to these other things that have all these other fanciness and other fancy features and whatever, and it's just a really stripped down thing. That doesn't really seem, it seems like it could be useful to people. Doesn't seem like a contest winner, you know? And I don't really care about making useful things. I don't really care about winning contests, but I care about getting $3,000 for free. What do we do? What do we want to do? What would be fun and weird and interesting for channel points? So I guess what I'm saying is like the automation aspect of channel points, I'm less enthused about because it just seems like there's other ways to do that for people who want to fuss with it. And I don't really want to like maintain fussy automation software. And if we could port the stuff we have to not need the backend that we have, and then you could do everything in the browser, that would be kind of cool. I think I just need to think about it some more. What are we at, 3.5 hours today? Yeah, I think we just call it for today. Is there anything else immediately we want to do about this thing? Like, it does the job. It's not great, but it does the job. There's a whole bunch of back and forth communication that is kind of annoying. You'd still need to know a couple things for the authorization step, but that would be fine. We could figure that out because, yeah, you just need to know the client ID. So the client ID can be built into the web page, and we can authorize you, and we can do all that stuff. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to just. This is ridiculous because this will be the third time. That's three. Third time, because the first time we tried it with the event API, and we decided we didn't like that because you needed a backend. And now we've done this thing, and I'm maybe deciding that I don't like it because you then need a local setup, like a local application running. And so the third time's a charm would be everything in the browser. And the promise of, like, it's all written. It's just porting it to work in the browser, which I don't think would be that much trouble. I don't think. The other option, I guess, is we could build this project and like do the thing and build it. Make all three options. We've kind of made the first two and I kind of don't like them. First option I don't like because it means I have to run servers. And I don't really want to run a service for this. Like, run a WebSocket server or whatever. Or whatever. Like, I have to run servers that Amazon is going to send the stuff back to, which I could, but then I need like a database for everybody and everybody's got accounts and whatever. Versus if it's just in a browser and it's stored in whatever the browser data store is. What happens if you do that though, actually? Because then it would be like, if you deleted, I never do anything with that. I don't think I've ever done anything with local storage. The fear would be is like if you delete all your like you delete your browser history, you delete all your settings, right? I would assume. Yeah, but then I don't have to maintain it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to submit it to a server and keep it in a database. I just want to store it locally in the browser. But then if you reset your browser, does it delete everything? I mean, but it's the same problem, right? Because I think web storage is fine because I'm just storing a few things. I don't need a like substantial lookup system. My fear, though, my question though is like, does resetting, like, does web store? I guess the individual browsers could handle it differently. I just don't know. Like, if I did whatever. Wherever that is. Where are you in Edge? Wherever the thing is that lets me delete my history, would it delete everything that was in the... like offline website data? I guess. Hosted app data. So that could be annoying for a person. I'm just, if I did all of this client side, if everything was client side, then that could be annoying for a person to have everything gone suddenly. Also, actually, now that I think about it, that wouldn't really work because the OBS, say it was going to be in an overlay or whatever, and you wanted to run it in an overlay, then that would have a different, you wouldn't be able to like configure it and save it to local storage and then still view it in OBS, because OBS, I assume, has its like own built-in version of Chromium or whatever. So like, it's a little annoying without some backend, but I don't really want to have to support a backend for this. I don't know, man. Computers are lame. I should go do laundry. I don't know. What's the answer here? We could try to build it the third way. But yeah, then our OBS browser source wouldn't be able to see it. Is the big issue there, unless we had a backend. And if we have a backend, then we should have a backend. You know what I'm saying? And then we could just do it the first way with the event API. But then that's way more annoying for me. Yeah, I feel like this is like feeling like those scenarios where you've got a solution looking for a problem. Like I just don't know what the problem I want to solve with channel points is, because I'm just not that interested in them. Because they're kind of boring. Wait, you're making a laundry app? Will it do my laundry for me? Because I don't want to. Oh, you're scheduling laundry. Washing machines? I think I've said this before. I'm not a luxurious person, and I don't typically take part in luxurious activities, but I will say maybe one of the main things I miss about living in New York is that you could just walk into a room with a giant bag of laundry and give a person $10 and then come back in the afternoon, like you're going to work or going to school or whatever. You just walk in and say, here's all my laundry. And then you come later and it's all washed and folded. And that is a luxury worth paying for, because having to do laundry sucks. Maybe if you own your own washer and dryer, it's not as bad, but like my life of living in apartments or whatever has always meant that doing laundry sucks. Yeah, perfect. You need washing machines that support if this, then that. Is that real? Is there washing machine support on if this, then that? So, I don't know. I think we just call it because I don't know what to do. We could keep working on this, but like, do we care? Do we care? I don't know that we care. Like, we have this API thing, we could port it to the browser. The actual code that wraps it is mostly endpoint stuff, which if it was all in the browser, we wouldn't need any of the endpoint stuff. So then kind of the only thing, like, there's just very little code that's doing any work. And all the work that it's doing that we actually care about is this, which is only relevant if the point of what we're doing is to trigger keyboard commands. If that is not the point, which it is feeling increasingly like that shouldn't be the point, then I don't know. So, like, the other alternative things that came to mind that I just haven't thought through very much is, one is I do like that in general, the weird idea of channel points, like some system that adds and removes them and whatever, like runs its own game or whatever, game or stock market or whatever. Like, it's just a system that is automated and channel points are added and removed and prices change and whatever. I think that could be, there's something interesting in that application. I just don't know what the idea is. Or something that is like cross-channel. But I don't know what to do with that either. Yeah, I might just not like channel points. It's possible. I don't know the answer. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I've just been like sitting here thinking for half an hour, and that's not doing anything for anybody. Okay, so thanks for hanging out. We kind of made the thing. At least we've figured out some more stuff for the future if we need to with Vue, because it is becoming more and more common for me to need this kind of thing, like a little web interface to configure you know, sometimes if I make an installation and inside the installation is a Raspberry Pi, like buried down inside of it, and I just want to be able to see what's going on with that thing or control it or test it, it's nice to have a simple little web interface to do that. Or for some of these things I've been doing with Unity and like weird interactive Unity things, it's helpful for testing or for like people to play with them, to have little portals like that. So I've been making those and I kind of like them. There's some downsides to the front end view stuff with, you know, if you don't have the whatever the build step to do SAS, you know, like dynamically compile your CSS and that kind of stuff. It's a little bit of a bummer. Like it's not ideal, but maybe it doesn't matter for this or for anything we want to do in this realm, and we'll just deal with it. And then the styling will be annoying because we won't have as much control over the CSS, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So, okay, I'm gonna think some more about it. We'll probably stream again tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. Kind of forgot about that. Maybe I'll have a birthday stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to build something that's interesting and not boring, like the thing we've been building for the last 3 days. Okay, thanks for hanging out. See you next time. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. A Valheim party? Are we gonna have a Valheim party? Yeah, maybe we'll have a Valheim party. Maybe we will. Okay, bye. You can't be trusted with that. You can't be trusted with this scene control. Out of control.